Okay, so if you've been following Cardano, you know things have been wild lately. There's just been this incredible flurry of development and new announcements. We're talking everything from super sophisticated new financial tools to brand new gaming worlds. The whole ecosystem is picking up speed, and we're going to break it all down for you. All right, let's jump right in. We're going to cover the DeFi evolution, the rise of gaming and entertainment, take a look at some key infrastructure upgrades, and then kind of tie it all together to see what this whole ecosystem in motion really means. So first up, DeFi. And listen, we're way beyond just simple token swaps now. The tools being built on Cardano are getting seriously sophisticated. So you got to ask, how is finance on Cardano actually getting smarter? Well, it's a huge shift, really. It's moving away from just asking, hey, what tokens are in your wallet, to asking, what can you do with those assets? And even, what's your reputation on chain? And a perfect example of this is a project called Atlas. They're introducing something called yield trading. Now, think about this for a second. What if you didn't have to wait to collect your future earnings from, say, staking? What if you could sell the rights to that future yield right now? That's what they're building, turning future profits into a liquid asset you can trade today. It's pretty wild. And what's really fascinating here is just how ambitious they're being. This isn't just about ADA staking rewards. No, they're looking at everything: Cardano native tokens, stablecoins, even real-world assets. The idea is to turn the yield from any of these into its own tradable market. I mean, can you imagine the amount of liquidity that could unlock? Now, remember how I said it's not just about assets anymore, it's also about reputation? Well, check this out. Newcast is building a Cardano Credit Score. Basically, it looks at your wallet's history, your on-chain behavior, and uses that to build a whole new layer of trust for the entire ecosystem. And this right here really just nails the difference, doesn't it? The old way was super simple. Does this wallet have enough tokens? That's it. The new way is way more nuanced. It asks, based on your actions, how trustworthy are you? And that, right there, is the key that could unlock way more complex stuff, like under-collateralized loans. And you know what's cool? This isn't just a top-down thing from developers. The community is getting a real say in what gets built. Take the Lovelace Club. Their members are literally voting right now on which of these 3 awesome ideas to fund next. You've got private leverage trading, an app to copy the big whale wallets, or a universal wallet. Pretty big choices. And it's not just them. We're seeing this across the board. Strike Finance is doing something similar, asking its community to vote on a huge decision, whether to stake their treasury tokens. The rewards would go right back into funding the project's development. I mean, that is DAO governance in action, plain and simple. Okay, so let's shift gears a little, because all these cool new financial tools, they don't just exist on their own, right? They're actually the building blocks for much richer, more complicated experiences. And that's exactly why we're seeing this absolute explosion in gaming and entertainment on Cardano. And speaking of gaming, huge news from one of the most hyped projects in the ecosystem. You probably know it as Cornucopias, but they just did a major rebrand and are now called Infinity Rising. And as the team says right here, this was all about making sure the brand's impact really matches the game's new vision as they gear up for big listings on places like Epic and Steam. And yeah, this is way more than just a simple name change. It came with a massive game update. They've added a whole player needs system. So now you actually have to eat, drink, and watch your health. Plus, they've turned on PvP and fall damage, which makes the world feel so much more real and dangerous. Now, if you're looking for a different kind of action on-chain, there's a new platform called BETFI, and they are aiming to be the go-to spot for entertainment on Cardano. They're building out the whole shebang: poker, a sportsbook, casino games, you name it. And in the true spirit of crypto, they're not building this in a silo. They actually want you, the community, to help them stress test their poker platform. So right now, you can join their Discord, follow these steps, and they'll give you test ADA so you can play and help them squash some bugs before the official launch. Okay, so here's the thing. You can build all the cool DeFi apps and amazing games you want, but none of it, and I mean none of it, works without a super solid foundation underneath. And that brings us to the infrastructure, which is also getting some huge upgrades that are paving the way for everything else. Just take a look at this roadmap from Pulse, which is a really key infrastructure project. You know how so many crypto roadmaps are just vague, soon promises? Not this. This is concrete. Open sourcing contracts tomorrow, announcing the testnet in a few days, releasing auditor details next week. This is the kind of stuff that builds real confidence. 200,000? What is that? Well, that's how many agent tokens from transaction fees just got sent to the Flux Point staking rewards treasury. This isn't just theory. This is a real live protocol generating real revenue and kicking it back to its community. That's what you love to see. And they're not stopping there. FluxPoint is also scaling up their main system, it's called Atom, so that users can run more than one bot at the same time. This is a direct upgrade that just makes the whole thing more powerful and useful for everybody. It shows they're serious about making the product better. Okay, so we've covered DeFi, we've covered gaming, we've covered infrastructure. Let's zoom out a bit and tie all these threads together to really see the big picture. What does it all mean? When you really step back and look at it all, you see it's not just a bunch of separate projects, it's a feedback loop, you know? The DeFi side is getting more mature with things like reputation and yield trading, and that creates the foundation for more complex games. Then, those new games and entertainment apps push the infrastructure to its limits, forcing it to get stronger and better. And kind of wrapped around this whole thing, you've got the community, voting and directing development, making sure it's all heading in a direction people actually want. It all works together. So all of this progress, happening on so many fronts at once, really just leaves you with one big question. You've got developers building like crazy and the community actively steering the ship. So with that kind of momentum, I mean, it's pretty exciting and almost a little mind-boggling to think about what using Cardano is going to look and feel like just 6 months down the road.